NBA Saturday, there is an absolute cracker of a game with Stats Guy's beloved Celtics. He is wearing a Celtics hat right now. Absolutely. What happened last time the Celtics and Heat played, Stats Guy?
I was there. It was bad. Just a lot of guys off the bench. Shooters were just shooting lots of threes. Not much defense from the Celtics. Lots of angry people yelling, "Get rid of Joe Mazzulla."
Oh, we're going to fire this Joe Mazzulla kid. He's horrible, dude. A lot of that vibe. Of course, the Heat did absolutely smash Boston in Game 7, 103-84 last time they met. Pretty funny, pretty great. Thing is, this is a completely different Boston team. We saw them in action yesterday. We also saw Miami just pull one out of their rear against...
Yeah, completely different Miami team as well.
Yep, Miami gave up a bunch of starters in the hope of getting Dame Lillard. They did not. And then, of course, you got the extreme zinger meal and Jrue Holiday and looked like a real absolute juggernaut. Of course, you only just sort of limped over the line against the Knicks, but that's just how the Knicks play the Celtics. So the fact that you actually won that game is pretty big for me.
I'll take it, yeah.
But, of course, in those games, like... We saw Jayson Tatum really come out of his shell, I think, in that series and just sort of a bit of swagger. Of course, it all sort of fell apart in Game 7, but I think this is I look at this Heat roster and go, all right, so who guards Jayson Tatum on this current Heat iteration? I have no answers for it because are they going to swing Jimmy Butler up a couple of positions? Are they going to try to play Kevin Love on Tatum is going to go for 30-plus in this game in a heartbeat. Because at least Bam can probably try to at least bottle up Porzingis a little bit. But Tatum is going to run completely roughshod over this Miami team tomorrow. So I love Tatum 30-plus against Miami just because they literally have no one to guard him. And he was really good in Game 1, went for 30-plus. You could see him do this all season. And like your flip side, Jimmy Butler, I think if you want to eke out like a bit of a Butler play, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists is usually sort of baseline, especially against the hated Celtics. But they do now have so many more like weapons to throw at him. Like they can go, right, we can rotate Jrue Holiday, Jaylen Brown, whoever we want to put on Jimmy Butler. So I'm not going to go too chaotic for Jimmy Butler's points totals, but I still think he gets to 20 because there's so few other players on that team who can do that. So I think that's where we'll go for that game. There's also an absolute belter as well with the OKC Thunder with my beloved Josh Giddey, the Mop Top Mamba, the Wheat Bix kid. I love him. You could actually probably set a benchmark for him of 16, 6, and 6 as well. But I'm going to look at SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's been absolutely unreal. The last, 10 months, like the back half, like the last 2/3 of last season, he was absolutely on fire. Averaged over 30 all year last year. He's going to go for 30 again against the Bulls. I think the Bulls...
Oh, they play again. Oh, look at Bulls.
Biggest sort of loser from this, from the opening day, right, is just the simple idea of, they stink. Oh, no, they're playing Cleveland. What am I talking about? No, they played...
I was going to say they wouldn't play straight away.
Cleveland up against OKC. OKC, this is still like a pretty defensively bereft Cavs team. That's what I was trying to say. I just didn't read my notes. They have Maxi Strus, who we saw light up yesterday. We saw Donnie Mitchell light up as well, 27 each for those. And no go the throw Jared Allen probably. So we saw like in the Cavs game yesterday against Brooklyn just attacking the rim time and time and time again. SGA, that is his bread and butter. He's going for 30-plus against the Cavs. Don't you worry about that. Flip side, I'd probably go Donnie Mitchell as well, just to sort of probably eke over that 25-point mark. But I'll get to this later. I think OKC, you're absolutely on a hater. And this Cavs team, just a little bit wonky, just saying. And in NFL, there are no markets out for some of these player ones that I can find at the moment. Of course, we've got Friday morning football kicking off in a second. But for the Sunday games, if you're looking at a couple of them, I think Tyreek Hill against the Pats. The Pats kind of had the book on Tyreek Hill and sort of limit him in their earlier meeting this season. This is in Miami, however. I think he goes ballistic. 100-plus receiving yards, 2+ touchdowns. I would not be surprised. I think Miami put the absolute smackdown on my beloved Patriots in this one. And like there will be a lot of talk, Bill Belichick knows how to check Tyreek Hill. They'll really limit him. They'll play too heavy, they'll load up the box. And he didn't top 100 last week, Hill. He had so many targets, but they really sort of just focused in on making sure that's like, all right, if he gets 5 yards, that's cool. Just don't let him get 50. And you're like,
yeah.
It's not a bad game plan. It's pretty good. I think he absolutely breaks one out, though, against this Pats team, who are missing like two of their biggest pieces on their defense. So that's probably my favorite specific player prop for your Sunday night, early Monday morning NFL gear. Across that, I mean, the rest of the NFL slate is a pretty weird one this week. And it's really hard to sort of dig into and go, right, who do I really like? Like maybe Tony Pollard for like a good a good rushing game against the Rams. They do have a pretty good interior defense, though. I think Dallas should win that one. But the rest of the games, it's a bit of a mishmash. Like even someone who'd look at and go, Philly, AJ Brown, he should smash Washington. Washington and Philly always just play really squirrely games. But so I'd look at maybe AJ Brown for 100 plus and a touchdown as well, because AJ Brown is just doing that week in, week out. But outside of that, there are so many weird games like Cleveland, Seattle. I don't want to trust anything in that game. KC, Denver. Denver are just very, very silly when it comes to like everything. And KC, it's like, oh, well, if Taylor Swift is there, you can bank like 100 plus yards for Travis Kelce in the touchdown in front of his pop star Bo. Like, apart from that, like it's just a weird, weird week because I don't even trust Baltimore and Arizona that much, like in terms of player props to really lean on. So there you go. There's a couple. I'll dig in lots more in the game picks though. Stats guy, what about you for some player props?
Yeah, some NBL back tonight, the Friday night games. There's two. Looking at the Tasmania Jack Jumpers and Melbourne United game first at 6:30. Gonna have a look at Jack McVeigh. I think he provides a bit of points betting value here, averaging 15.8 points per game for the Jackies. Really efficient at 49%, and he's been getting better each week from three as well. So he's been a threat in the paint and then also a threat outside. 15 plus points just to get his average at home against United is $2.45. So he's averaging 15.8. I think at home, especially, this Jackie's side has been really good. They've actually surprised me, been a little bit better than I thought. They beat the Kings last week, and McVeigh's been a real part of that, especially the last 3 weeks. He's just been tearing it up. So $2.45, I was really surprised just to get 15 plus. Then I'm going to have a look at the Wildcats taking on the Bullets later tonight at 9:30. Keanu Pinder, I've been all over him in the preseason. He's been awesome, averaging 15.7 rebounds. I'm going to try same sort of thing, try and get around his average. I think he's going to lift for the home crowd at the Jungle just to get to his averages. So 15 plus points, 6 plus rebounds is $2.10. So there's been a couple of games where he's got 25 points and 10 plus rebounds. I just needed to get to his average, and I think he can against the Bullets. If Big Bang as Baines was playing, I think this would be a bit of a different matchup because harder to score against him. But without him, maybe Rocco comes in, but he's still a bit inexperienced. Pinder, I reckon, is just going to tear it up in the paint.
That is a great call because this is an absolute backs against the wall spot for the Wildcats, right? Like
they need a win.
They might get fired if they lose this game because the Bull A's are very up and down. We know that. And they'll have games where they look awesome, then look horrible.
And then just drop off.
The Wildcats should absolutely demolish them out west, and Pinder will be a really big part of that going up against like that sort of pretty inexperienced battery of big men that they have, sans bangers.
Yes.
The Tassie Melbourne one's pretty interesting. McVeigh, I mean, if you just read his Twitter, you'll just get super inspired and just think he's a crazy brain genius. But otherwise, I think that's amazing. He's averaging 15 already this season. He does have just those. He's like he's the points in between the points where, and then he'll have like a massive one. You're like, where did that come from?
Goes on weird stretches. I think his career is only average around 10, and then this season he's just upped it massively.
That's awesome. Look, the absolute goods. This is a huge game. It's a huge test at home against United. That game is going to be unreal. Great. Couple of calls there, stats guy. I enjoyed it.
Nice.
Obviously, because I'm still talking.
Yeah.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.